Hello, everyone. My name is Chrissy Smith, and this is Nine Lives Energy, and together we energize your body from the inside out. Welcome to this 12-part series called Astro Health, where we talk about each zodiac sign. We give a little bit of astrology talk at the beginning of our segment, and then we finish with a deep dive talking about the best astrological remedies for each sign. And this week we are talking about Pisces. My mom is a Pisces, so this video / podcast is for you. And let's go ahead and get started. So Pisces controls the 12th house. So if you go around this zodiac wheel, you will see that there are 12 houses. And this will make a little bit more sense as we get a little bit into the astrology at the beginning of this video when we start talking about the eclipses, because the eclipses are going to be changing on January the 11th and shifting into the health axis of Pisces and Virgo. So if you missed the last week's session where we talked about Virgo, you might want to check that out because that is going to be highlighted along with Pisces. And sometimes the best way that we can work with our energy is to look with the opposing sign and see what is going on there so that we can best navigate some of these energies. Pisces controls our subconscious. It also controls the oceans. And if you look at this symbol here, this is Neptune. And if we think about Neptune, that is very oceanic, if that is a word. So people who have a lot of Pisces in their chart or who are Pisces probably do love to be around the ocean and water. It also controls the entertainment industry. As far as like the illusions of the entertainment industry. And it is one of our, if not the most, spiritual signs that we have in the zodiac. These people are very intuitive. So I know that this looks like a really busy screen, but I will break it down for you. So we began a new story with Virgo and Pisces on September 17th, 18th, because this lunar eclipse happened in the middle of the night. So depending on where you are in the world, this is where it would affect you. So I chose this specific time for September 17th or 18th, because I wanted to make sure that this right here was going to be at 26 degrees. The moon moves very fast. So it takes the moon 28 days to go around this whole zodiac chart. Okay. So it spends just a few days in each zodiac sign so that I could complete that revolution around the sky. And at 26 degrees, this is where the moon would be. So last year, when we had this eclipse, we had the chart ruler of the eclipses, which has been governing this whole show and the eclipses for quite some time, which was Neptune in the sign of Pisces. Now, Neptune is most comfortable in Pisces, as we discussed on our last screen, because that is the chart ruler. And when I look at this, this is kind of beginning a new story. But next year, this sign right here is going to be moving into the sign of Aries. And what I like about this movement is whatever sign that you are, you're trying to advance to the sign ahead of it. So Pisces is trying to be more like an Aries, and an Aries is trying to be more like a Taurus, and a Taurus is trying to be more like a Gemini, right? And when I think about that, like an Aries, I need to slow down, all right? Because I make a lot of hasty decisions, so I need to be more like a Taurus and move slower. A Pisces has a tendency to maybe want to be too comfortable in the water, right? But we need to kind of get out of that modality of water and be moving into more something that is action oriented and being more like a fire sign and getting that water to be moving around. I hope that that made sense. So if we look at this person's birth chart, or when this experience happened with the collective, the sun was in Virgo, and then this person is a Cancer rising. And during last year, we had Mars, which was in Cancer. And so that is not a comfortable sign for Mars. However, Mars in Cancer is a very intuitive sign, right? So a lot of people possibly could be getting downloads or prayers answered or things coming their way so that they can move that water, right? Because Cancer is a water sign, just like Pisces, just like Scorpio, and Mars in Cancer is a little bit more of an action-oriented water. We had the North Node the North Node was in Aries, not in Libra. My fault. And so we were eliminating things which no longer served us so that we can be setting up relationships in our life that can kind of get us on this trajectory of movement. And then we had our MC in Pisces. But I want you to take a look at where this Saturn is. All right. So Saturn is the structures of life. And so the structures of life could be changing for these people as they look a little bit deeper into their subconscious patterns and why they do the things that they do. Again, this is setting up the story, which will last until August 2026, when the lunar eclipse will be happening at 5 degrees Pisces. I'm not going to go over all these eclipses, but the ones that we are going to be highlighted are the one on the 26th, Pisces, which was on the 17th of September of last year. Then we're going to be looking at the one on September 7th of this year, and also the one down here at the bottom for August 28th, 2026, which is going to be wrapping up this story. So taking a look at our next eclipse, this is when the sun is going to be in Virgo. Now you probably are thinking, well, I'm a Pisces, I'm not a Virgo. I understand that, but the opposite sign of Virgo is Pisces, right? So if we have a lunar eclipse, that means that the sun is at the opposite of the moon. And so that is where the eclipse is happening. And that's a lunar eclipse versus having a solar eclipse. So this is not a solar eclipse in Virgo. This is a lunar eclipse in Pisces, okay? So I want you to pay attention to this just a little bit, because there's 4 outer planets that are in retrograde. So we have, let's see, looking up here, we have Uranus that is in retrograde. We have Saturn, we have Neptune, and Pluto. And so with all these planets that are in retrograde, it is asking you to rework something, review, reflect, reorganize, revisit, right? So that eclipse that happened last year, all right, let's take a look at maybe how our life has changed over that last year, okay? Maybe there might be some things that you want to rework before we begin our new story, right? So anytime that a planet is in retrograde, it's asking us to review, reflect, rework, not trying to go forth with whatever our plan is, because sometimes we might start a plan and we're like, you know, that really isn't what I needed to be doing. Let me rework that. Or maybe something fell apart so that something else can fall together more into the future. If somebody is born on this specific day, they would be a Virgo sun, as we can see right here. They would also be a Sagittarius rising, which we can see right here. Their North Node would be in Pisces. So that means that they are trying to be more Piscean in nature. And their MC is in Libra. So they are trying to be also more like a Libra in this lifetime. All right. March 3rd. Now, as you can see, I don't have as much on this screen. I did not put a specific time, so you can't see the house arrangements. But what you can see, this chart is similar to the chart that we showed back at the beginning, where we had the first house is Aries, second house is Taurus, third house is Gemini. And you can kind of see that first house, second house, third house. So this particular, eclipse would be the sun would be in Pisces and the moon would be in Virgo. So this is a lunar eclipse in Virgo, which is affecting the sun. This is definitely going to be affecting a lot of the Pisces on March 3rd. Anybody who has a planet, anybody who is born 5 days before or 5 days after an eclipse is going to be greatly impacted for the whole next year, okay? So if you are born on the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, or the 8th, or back in February, if you were born on the 2nd, the 1st, the 28th, the 27th, or the 26th of February, you are going to be greatly impacted for the entire next year. So let's look at something. So this right here, Neptune, the chart ruler of the previous eclipses, was in Pisces, where it felt comfortable. It doesn't necessarily feel comfortable in Pisces, but what I like about this is that this Pisces, Neptune, okay, is trying to be more like an Aries. This is also at 1 degree, which is an Aries degree, okay? And if we look at this, Aquarius is where everybody's saying we are moving into the age of Aquarius. Well, this is true, but there's trying to do some disruptions, right, in our earth so that we can be more readily to step into the future of Aquarius. And so we have this planet here, Uranus, which is controlled by Aquarius, which is in a sign it doesn't like to be in, which is Taurus, and it's making a nice, what we call a sextile over here to Uranus and to Mercury. So it is allowing you to kind of reflect in. And how are you communicating with yourself? What are your subconscious behaviors that allow you to value certain things, right? Or allow you to express yourself in a certain way. So that is going to be highlighted for you so that you can step into whatever it is that your next chapter is supposed to be. Anytime we have a lunation, all right, that is shining a light on things that we need to take a look at. And if we look back at this, this was another light that was shining on things that we needed to take a look at. So what are your subconscious behaviors that could be affecting the way that you communicate is definitely going to be a highlight. Communicate, especially with yourself, your inner self, because how we talk to our inner self is greatly affected on our outward experiences in this particular lifetime. And making sure, all right, that see this planet right here, or this point, this is Black Moon Lilith, and it is in the sign of Sagittarius at 8 degrees. So making sure that we don't fall into maybe old subconscious behaviors and where we don't want to change, and we want to stay in that fixed energy that makes us feel good, right? But understand that when we do have these challenges, it is causing you to change. And change does not always feel comfortable. But when we have this information with astrology, we can kind of see where it's going over our specific birth chart so that we can transform a little bit easier when we know this information. So Pisces, the dates are February 19th through March 20th. It is ruled by, as we discussed, Neptune. However, the traditional ruler is Jupiter. So not only do Pisces need to be paying attention to where Neptune is, but they also need to be paying attention to where Jupiter is. And Jupiter spends about a year in each astrological sign. And right now it is in the sign of Gemini. And so this is a good time for Pisces to be thinking about how they communicate with themselves and how they communicate with the outside world. And it is going to be transferring into Cancer, I believe, in the summertime. So this communication that you have with yourself could help you be able to have an upgrade in your home, and also being able to I would say communicate more on the moon level. And if we think about what Neptune rules, what Pisces rules, the ocean, how do the oceans, how are they controlled by the tides, right? How are the tides controlled? They are controlled by the moon. So wherever the moon is, I would say Pisces also needs to be paying attention, because that is going to be highlighted at the beginning of next year. So looking at the moon and where it is in relationship to discovering parts of yourself that could be highlighted, new things coming in every 2 weeks, things that we need to release every 2 weeks. That would be something good for Pisces to start with next summer, whenever Jupiter goes into the astrological sign of Cancer, because right now it's in Gemini. Its magic numbers are 12, so we understand that 12 is the 12th house that Pisces and Neptune rules. But if we go around that wheel again, 24 is also another Piscean degree. So if you see 1212 a lot, or if maybe you purchase something at the store and it's 1224 or 2424 or 2412, that is a way of your angels communicating with you. So it's important for you to think about, okay, well, what am I thinking about at this time? Is it a good thought? Is it a bad thought? If it's a bad thought, let's change that vibration so that we can get more in alignment with what the universe or God or your angels are trying to bring forth to you at this time. Now, Virgo is controlled by Mercury. So the opposite sign of Pisces is Virgo. So Neptune and Mercury are opposing planets, I guess you would say. So Mercury is at fault and a detriment in Pisces, but Neptune is in detriment in Virgo, but it's in fall in Capricorn. And what I'm saying by that with Capricorn is Neptune kind of likes to, it can either be real fiery or it can be real airy, right? Because the sign behind it is Aquarius and the sign ahead of it is Aries. But it doesn't really like to be kind of earthy. It wants to be able to move around and be mutable, because that's what water does. It flows. So making sure that we flow with the energy and not being so steadfast in our structures. And because if we are, then we aren't able to do the evolution that our soul came here to do. Venus is exalted in Pisces. And as you can see in this other chart here, all right, Pisces has Venus there in its astrological sign in the 2026. So that is going to be a good placement for Pisces, Venus. And it's going to make things just a little bit easier for us because Venus is happy in that particular zodiac sign. And Neptune is exalted in Cancer. And as we mentioned earlier, the oceans are controlled by the moon. So it's important for Pisces to know not only where the moon is, but it's also important to know where Neptune is as well as Jupiter. Hope that made sense. You can always, email me and we can look at your birth chart and discuss all these fun transits that are going to be happening for you in the upcoming year. Now, there are 3 types of Pisces, and this is the evolutionary journey of a Pisces. So the first one is the fish, and this person usually takes in energies of other people or takes on the energies of other people. And so it's kind of hard to understand, why am I crying? Why am I so emotional? Because you could be taking on the energies of other people that you're trying to help, or the energies of the collective, and you get overwhelmed very easy because you want to help other people, but again, you end up trying to take on their stuff instead of allowing them to be responsible for their own journey. And you need to realize, hey, you can't save everybody. And by you putting yourself last is not a way of you being your best self to you. All right. We need to learn how to love ourselves, Pisces. And loving yourself is not, let me take on everybody else's stuff. That's kind of like what a Libra does as well. The darkness is the second evolutionary phase of a Pisces. These people often take on so much that they end up experiencing physical pain. And this physical pain or emotional pain can show up not only having physical pain in the body, but also having pain in their mental abilities as well. And so a lot of these people, they choose subconsciously, they don't even realize that they're doing it, ways to escape the pain, whether it's I'm going to take medicine, or I'm not going to exercise. So therefore I create more pain in my body because they feel like maybe they are deserving of the pain because they couldn't fix the issue with other people. Okay. And so sometimes when they descend into this darkness, they have no other choice but just to surrender to the pain and say, okay, why am I like this? let me learn how to deal with this pain so that I'm not in pain anymore, whether that's emotional pain or whether that's being in depression or whether that's physical pain, because a lot of Pisces suffer from autoimmune disorders from taking on those emotional responses from whatever has happened to them as well as other people. And then the final journey of a Pisces is understanding their ability to feel emotions deeply. And that is your superpower, but it's important for you to protect yourself before you go out. And so, whether you say a prayer or whether you take a crystal and you charge yourself and say, I clear, charge, and protect my energy before going out so that other people don't see you and say, hey, take on my stuff. And you as a Pisces will be like, sure, I'll take on all this stuff. And that's not yours to do. But these people tend to walk one in the physical world, one foot in the physical world and one in the spiritual world. And that is your superpower. But in order for you to get to the superpower, we need to learn how not to take on other people's things and to heal ourselves emotionally, mentally, and physically. Some animals, colors, and oils and flowers that these people probably resonate with. The wolf helps with intuition, but I see Pisces as a whale, right? It's the biggest mammal in the ocean. And it comes up for air when it needs it, and it goes down below when it doesn't need it, right? So it doesn't just stay in the water where it's comfortable. It comes up for air when it needs it. And mythical creatures would be a mermaid. I love mermaids for Pisces because they're very intuitive. And this reminds me of some of the ancient mythical creatures that we would think when we look at like Lemurian times. If that is of interest to you, try to research some of those times in Lemuria that have to deal with mermaids and mythical creatures. Essential oils that would be good for these people is grapefruit or possibly eating grapefruit. Lavender would help calm these people. Jasmine is a good essential oil because this helps them to realize self-acceptance. It's hard for Pisces. Sometimes they build up a big wall because they don't want to accept things that have possibly happened to them. And so they build up these barriers. Sandalwood is good because of their perfectionism. If we think about the opposite sign of Pisces, it's Virgo. Those people also suffer from perfectionism too. And juniper berry, this can help with being overwhelmed. A lot of Pisces are so overwhelmed that they just don't do anything. And so this could help with that and get them to help organize their thoughts so that they can move forward. Colors is seafoam green and any type of ocean colors. I have my seafoam green on today. And water lily is a flower for these people. Crystals, aquamarine, definitely, because this is their birthstone and it helps with spirituality and clarity and harmony. Amethyst, it helps with spiritual connection, emotional balance, and intuition. I love amethyst. I think it is one of the best stones that you can use for all zodiac signs. Rose quartz, this is for helping others, and especially if you are an empathetic person, meaning that you take on the energies of other people, that would definitely help you. And this is a rose quartz right here, and this is aquamarine. Calcite is kind of like a seafoam green, and it helps with self-doubt and boosting confidence. Turquoise, this is turquoise. Helps with speaking one's truth, because sometimes Pisces, they don't want to hurt other people's feelings, and so they might take things and just keep it inside, or they may blast other people and not think about it because that's coming from an old wound that maybe they have, and it's not coming from a compassionate place. Botswana agate is this one right here, and this can help with letting go of old habits and new beginnings. So these are some stones that I definitely would get in your collection for the upcoming year and a half. I think that you will find that this could greatly help you, especially with letting go of old habits, because Virgo controls our health habits, our routines, our day-to-day. Are there any health habits or things in your day-to-day that maybe you need to let go of so that you can step into that intuitive and mystical and spiritual Pisces that you know to be? In medical astrology, before the introduction of Western medicine, they used astrology to kind of help see where a person might be suffering so that they can help them on their journey and not take on some of these other energies and do what it is that they came here to do in this lifetime. It does control the feet and it does control the lymphatic system. So with that being said, you need to be paying attention to how things move in your body. Energy moves in your body, and you could detox some of these energies through the feet. These people could be vulnerable to depression because they want to help everybody and they might feel other energies from other people and they don't know how to handle it. And so it could cause them to be depressed. They could suffer from autoimmune disorders such as fibromyalgia or lupus. They are overly sensitive, so they could cry more easily than other people. And it's just because they feel things and they don't know why they feel these things so deeply. And so they just, would be more sensitive to crying. They could be more vulnerable to escapism because they don't want to do the work and move forward into an Aries. So this escapism could come in the form of food, negative self-talk, watching too much television, doing too much spiritual work, which means I'm going to make a vision board, but I'm not going to do anything to work on the vision board. I'm just going to make the vision board. Okay. So that's working into escapism, thinking that, I've created this vision board, so now the things are going to come to me, when really I haven't done any work to make that happen. They could be a hypochondriac, meaning that they're always going to the doctor, because Pisces controls the medical system. It controls sharp, pointy things. It controls institutions. And so if these people think that they're sick all the time, they could have a not so good relationship with the doctor, and they give their power away to the doctor instead of working on their own intuitive abilities. Remember, Pisces is the most intuitive sign. Why are we giving our power away to the medical system when we know that we can be doing a lot of this work ourselves if we take action? They could be kind of moody. All right. Scorpios are kind of moody too. But a lot of this moodiness comes from not wanting to do the work and trying to cover up old wounds. And so they think that they need to deserve the pain. And so therefore they create a moodiness around keeping that wound tight. They could suffer from feet issues. This is bunions. This is athlete's feet. This is anything to do with the feet, plantar fasciitis. Or ingrown toenails, those kind of thing, anything to do with the feet. Very sensitive people, especially sensitive probably to touch. Weak boundaries. Because Pisces is the ocean, okay, they move too much. And so what that means is that they have weak boundaries and they allow everything in when they need to be putting more structures in place, like a dam, to be like, nope, you aren't coming in here. All right. I need to be doing my own work, and it is not my responsibility to be doing your work. So they might find that people tend to find them and want to tell them all their problems. And a Pisces is like, oh, well, let me do it for you. Or they feel like somebody just unloaded on them. And if they are an intuitive healer, they know how to manage that as probably a spiritual leader. But if they don't know how to manage it, it could cause them to overdo for other people. And then when people don't appreciate it, that could hurt their feelings. These people could suffer from mental illness. Like I said, it controls mental institutions and moon sensitivity. So the moon controls the oceans. Pisces controls oceans. So we want to make sure that we're looking at the moon, setting new intentions for things when we have a new moon, and looking at where the moon is going over our chart, and releasing things whenever there's a full moon, and looking at where that full moon is on our chart. That could definitely help a Pisces get more grounded and apply more action into their life. Some astrological remedies, anything to do with the feet, foot detox bath, anything with foot care, getting pedicures, foot massages. There's like these detox pads that you can put on your feet that kind of eliminate toxins within the body. These people are probably more sensitive to heavy metals, so make sure that you take a look at that. If you have a lot of fillings in your mouth, or if you maybe are exposed to metal-like materials that you don't realize it, these things can kind of clog up your body and cause you to have an autoimmune disorder. These people need to be drinking a lot of water, putting lemon in their water or apple cider vinegar, things that would help detox their body, being around the ocean, crying. Don't feel like, well, I'm crying and I'm a weak person. That's good for you to do. And you may find yourself crying and you don't know why. Who cares? Just cry and let it out because your body's detoxing from that. Reflexology, that is where you have little points on your feet and you move the energy around by working with the feet, and also sound healing. I have this instrument here. This is a tuning fork. And this would be really good for Pisces to use. And you could just do something like this, right? And it vibrates down here at the bottom, putting this into bath water, putting this into water that you drink, putting this on your feet in different pressure points that reflexology works with, could be very beneficial to these people. Pisces controls sleep. Pisces controls dreams. So make sure that you're showering before bed. Make sure that you are releasing the energies that you have picked up throughout the day. That is not yours to take to bed with you. Okay. If you don't take a shower before you go to bed, you're bringing all that energy while you go to sleep, and then a Pisces can't sleep comfortably. And so they might have sleep issues if they don't take a shower before they go to bed. So making sure that they get on a good sleep regimen and that they do self-care practices before you go to bed. If you aren't, if you're just watching a bunch of TV before you go to bed, or maybe eating a bunch of food before you go to bed, that's not the best self-care practice. Putting your, doing a massage to your feet would be a good practice. Showering before you go to bed, drinking water before you go to bed would be very good for you, and healing. Best activity practices: fishing, being around the water, beach walking. These people are natural caregivers. So giving to others and giving to pets is very healing for them, but making sure that you set up good boundaries with it, okay? Also being crafty and artistic, that is a hidden expression for them. And I think sometimes they get in their mind, well, other people are better, so I'm not going to do anything. Who cares what it looks like? As long as you like it, that's what's important, right? Sports, any type of water sport or activity, standing with your feet in the ground like waist level and just moving your body around could be so healing for Pisces. Or doing water aerobics, skiing, being active in the water, being practical about your dreams. Pisces loves to say, well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. Virgo's the same way. And then at the end of the day, they make this list of things to do, and either they get too caught up in the details, or they get too caught up in the escapism about the dreaming that they don't actually put that into practice. So being practical about the dreams that you have, like what can you do right now to make your dream come true? Not, well, I have to wait on this to make my dream come true. Okay. Watching movies, but not getting too caught up into the movies, right? Because Pisces controls movies. Singing is good for them, sound healing, dancing, giving advice and being there for others, but make sure that you have boundaries around this, that you are not trying to take on other people's problems just because they told you about the problem. And if a Pisces doesn't move, that's stagnant water. What does stagnant water smell like? It stinks, okay? So let's try to be more like an Aries. Let's move the energy around Pisces so we can feel better. Some foods that these people should try to implement into their diet: seafood, fish, liver, because the liver helps detox the body. So using organ type meat could help with these people because they could suffer from low iron issues. Eggs and poultry also have a lot of iron in them as well. Green leafy veggies, broccoli, prunes, grapefruit, eating grapefruit. Remember we said grapefruit was a good essential oil for these people. Pumpkin seeds and dried fruit. Dried fruit with dark chocolate would be a good snack for these people. Try drinking water that has lemon or ginger or apple cider. This could definitely help you with digestion, because Virgo is the opposite side of your chart, and Virgo controls digestion. So how can we help ourselves be more Pisces? We look at the opposite sign and we try to implement some of that into our life as well. And that could definitely help you with digestion and some of your autoimmune disorders as well, by drinking more water and getting the toxins out. Using honey versus sugar or artificial sugar. Artificial sugar is probably one of the worst things that these people can do because it's artificial. It's not real. Yes, it doesn't have calories, but what is that chemical doing to your body? What is that chemical doing to your liver? Okay, it's probably causing you to have some health issues that you were unaware of. A master cleanser recipe, and you just leave this in the refrigerator and drink it as you need to. So it's water, lemon juice, maple syrup, real maple syrup, not, Mrs. Buttersworth, and cayenne pepper is a really good detox for these people. Avoid alcohol, avoid processed food and soda because those are very toxic to the liver, and the liver needs to make sure that it is cleaned out so we can get that Pisces energy moving well. So if you got something out of this, make sure that you like it and that you share it with others that you think could also get something out of it. Commenting on it could also help the channel to grow and get this information out there to people who need it most. Share this with a Pisces friend. Is there a Pisces that you love but maybe just needs a little bit of help, and in order to get a little bit healthier on their journey? So remember, the next year and a half, Pisces, you're going to be highlighted, and the North Node is in your sign. And so you are going to be the leaders of the collective in order to improve your intuition and help with your subconscious behaviors and your patterns and why you do things, and also learning how to set good boundaries so that other people don't distract you from what it is that you're wanting to do in this lifetime. And this is our schedule. So we have 4 more signs coming up: Leo, Cancer, Gemini, and Taurus. So I hope that you check this out. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this, because every time you do, another person gets healthier. Thanks so much. And a big shout out to my mom, who's a Pisces. And I look forward to seeing how we can help you become a healthier version of yourself in the next year and a half as the North Node steps into your sign. Thanks, everyone. Have a magical day. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks so much. My name is Chrissy Smith. This is 9 Lives Energy. And together we energize your body from the inside out.